Like, what was Kyle supposed to do? How are we going to win this game, even with the Devontae Smith non-catch reverse or whatever? Like, Brock Purdy, we now know, it was a full, like a tear, like a UCL tear that he is now out 6 months, so he could not literally throw the football 10 yards downfield. Josh Johnson, obviously well in over his head for that moment, did not have the snaps, was not ready for any of that. And you're like, well, what? You're going to run the fullback and do the Wildcat as the emergency quarterback? It just sucks because you're like, there's nothing they could do. It wasn't even like a back and forth, just unbelievable ending. It was just
I don't even
sad.
know why you're talking like that. Like, I don't understand anyone when it comes to this 49ers game. Like, everyone wanted to discuss so many things, and my friends included. When Brock Purdy went out, the game was over.
Yeah.
And I knew that the second it happened. And as a 49ers fan, I had peace. I don't know anybody else, and obviously on the podcast you won't be able to hear this, but I have tight shoulders from like bro lifting my whole life. So I know, like, essentially, like, the motion that he was throwing, when your arm is trying to go the other way, it doesn't have a lot of range of motion, even if you are an athlete. And when you're throwing that as fast as you can and you're throwing your arm into a Hassan Reddick, I'm sure every single tendon just ripped in half. And so, not to get into that, I mean, let's backtrack. I've been saying it facetiously for a long time, but I'm tired of it. I want the respect it deserves. The 49ers are cursed, and we need to start talking about it. We need to start admitting it. I know it's a funny thing to say. You think about curses, you think about witches and black magic and maybe hocus pocus. I don't know what you think about. Maybe you think about hexes. Maybe you think about, I don't know. The 49ers are cursed. Kyle Shanahan comes and gets hired after they had Jim Harbaugh, a Super Bowl winning team, Colin Kaepernick. That team has its own issues. But then Kyle comes in, clean slate, doesn't draft Patrick Mahomes because he's going to get old Kirk Cousins. And then they realize, well, that's not a good idea. So we got to figure something out. So they trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Tears his ACL immediately. After a little bit of hope, 5 games, wins 5 in a row games. We think that the Niners are on top of the world. Nope, tears his ACL. Never comes back. Never gets fully healthy from that. Always plays different than when we first saw him those first 5 games. So then Kyle goes, well, we tried to trade for a quarterback, and we did, and it worked for a little bit, but then he tore his ACL. We got to figure something out. This is a great quarterback class. What should we do? Well, you know what? I'm Kyle Shanahan. We've got a great roster. We need a quarterback, and I'm not going to sit here and rest on my laurels. I'm not going to wait on Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to go out and get a quarterback by trading 3 first-round picks. We could have picked either Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, right? We chose Trey Lance. Thought it was the right decision. I know old Eric over here, big North Dakota fan, knows it was a great decision. We all thought it was a great decision. Well, guess what? He wasn't quite ready. He was fresh. That's fine. Jimmy's going to play anyways. Jimmy plays a little bit better. Hope again. They might just so happen to be able to be successful with Jimmy. No. Pain, sadness. What happens? Throws an interception against the Rams, who then go on to win the Super Bowl. So now they have played the Chiefs, missed 1 throw, lost the Chiefs, played the Rams, thrown a pick, other things, lose to the Rams. So now
this is iconic.
It's Trey Lance time, baby. We waited for this. We did a year of Jimmy Garoppolo knowing that this legend was in the background waiting to come in. And you know what? He's had a year under the belt. We've got a new quarterback coach in Brian Greasy. We've got weapons, Debo, Brandon Ayuk. We've got running backs all over the place. We have everything that Trey Lance could be possibly hoping to need. What's the first game? Monsoon. Chicago Monsoon. Google it. See how many times Chicago has played in torrential downpour in a football game. It's always snow, alcoholism, and sadness. That's it. But instead, monsoon in Chicago. And guess what? Trey Lance can't throw the ball because it's raining so hard. You know when it stops raining in Chicago? That's right. When the Chicago Bears get the ball, when they are done scoring, boom, starts raining again. That's not a joke. I'm not joking. Literally Google it. It happened like that. So then they lose to the worst team in the NFL because of rain, God, and misfortune. And then what happens next? Me, this dumbass, flies out to San Jose and Santa Clara because he's going to go watch Trey Lance play the Seahawks. I brought my girlfriend, her first ever football game. Life is so exciting. Breaks his ankle immediately. Immediately breaks his ankle. It's okay though, guys. Jimmy's the backup. What other team in the NFL has a starting caliber quarterback as a backup? Jimmy's here and he's going to save the day. In fact, now they're winning football games. They could go to the playoffs. Jimmy's starting to play better. He's doing things that he hasn't ever done since those first 5 games. Things are going to be okay, everyone. No, they're not. Jimmy gets injured too. So now Jimmy's gone. The world is going to shit. We're all crying as Niners fans. And guess what? Brock Purdy, the literal Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, comes out and starts playing well. More than well. Better than Jimmy's played since his
Never
ACLs.
loses.
8-0. 7-0. Brock Purdy has now guaranteed 49ers fans that they are going to the Super Bowl. 12-win streak for the NFL 49ers. Going to the NFC Championship to play the Eagles. Do you know what happened, Chase? I know you're going to say break his ankle because it seems to be a very common thing. No! He got a baseball injury. The football player got a baseball injury. And he's going to have Tommy John surgery now because his UCL got ripped in half like it was Hulk Hogan pulling his arm. So, there is no God. And if there was, he's a Seahawks fan. And he's angry. But hey, as every 49ers fan knows, there's always next year.
Remember, Evan said at the top of the show that he is in better shape than all the 49ers fans that he knows. And he just went on a 10-minute monologue about the curse of the 49ers. I mean, that was the Woody from Toy Story meme, the whole up, let him cook. I wanted to butt in like 3 times. I'm like, I gotta let him go. That was therapy for you.
I was going to say, I feel better.
Okay, I have some comments, though. First of all, do not come on to a podcast hosted by a Falcons fan and featuring a Vikings fan and talk about curses about an NFL team. You've had a string of bad luck. You've made several NFC championship games.